all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we may be. We are back. We are Old Guys Still Rock, episode number 19.
Woohoo.
19. We almost, dude, next week it will be 20. We're gonna have to hit it. We're gonna might have to record early. We're supposed to go. Chrissy is taking her parents to Hawaii, which may be the last trip for him. So talking about being a little sentimental.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough.
Well,
But anyways,
and
guys,
April surgery's next week, so we're going to be in LA. So we're going to be. I'll be remote anyways. I'll be an hour and a half from you.
There you go. All right, kids, here we go. So this is Old Guys Still Rock. If this is your first time here, we are two dudes, two different sides of the tracks, two different ways that we're kind of going through life. But anyways, what we have looked for is trying to find a podcast that really hits a 40-plus age group. Seems like everything is out there is maybe is a little bit of a self-help, maybe it's a little bit entrepreneurs, but really geared to that younger genre. And we're kind of hit to the guys that are actually going through it, have gone through it, or maybe going through it again. So we want to welcome you. I'm Blair Armstrong. We have a company called Team Armstrong. We are real estate agents. We're actually luxury real estate agents here in beautiful Indian Wells, California, but we stretch the Coachella Valley. Yes, the same Coachella, where you go to the Coachella Music Fest. And then on my right, maybe your left, depending on how you're watching this, is Brent Wright in beautiful, well, it might not be beautiful today. I actually talked to somebody in Oregon yesterday. I know it was raining. So
Yeah.
how's weather today in Eugene, Oregon?
Well, it's not raining yet, so so far good today. 52 degrees, partly sunny. It says on my weather app and my computer, but I believe it when I see it.
It's coming, man. I have a couple clients up in the Portland area, and they've been prolonging to get a house down here. And they're like, I think we're moving up our time. I can't do another winter like this. So, and it's just a weird thing. Obviously, for you guys who don't know, I lived in Oregon for a majority of my life. Actually, just moved here permanently in the desert in 2010. So I'm going on number year 14. But it's very hard to fathom when you live in sunshine for the majority of the time. Now we're just ending up our hot season. Still going to be about 98, 99 today. But we were having cool mornings. And when I say cool mornings, when you wake up and it's 68 degrees outside, you're like, oh my God, this is the best weather ever. You guys would die for 68 and sunny right now.
Oh yeah, that'd be a warm day.
So what's been going on with you, dude? I haven't seen you for a week. Talked a couple times, but how's your world?
Just kicking tires and lighting fires.
Fun. Yeah. What's anything new in your industry of body shop? Now, I know you have a couple of different businesses as well, but what's going on? What's new and exciting in the body shop world?
Well, it is a brave new world with all this technology. So it is interesting, all the new things that are coming out. I drove a customer's car this morning. I went to go pick it up, a Mercedes, that when you go around corners, the seats lift up on the side of the corner and hugs you into the seat.
Wow.
So think about that from an accident standpoint, right? So they get sideswiped and that gets damaged, and then that seat motor and that sensor gets damaged, and then there's a yaw and axis sensor somewhere in the vehicle, and that gets damaged. It's just all this cool technology is super awesome, but man, from a repair perspective, it's becoming harder and harder and harder every day. And the factory doesn't know much about it, which is super weird.
Huh.
They're building cars using vendors to build this technology for them because they can't know everything.
Right.
But the factory doesn't even know how to fix some of the stuff that's broken.
Might even go back to the episode we had last week about AI, right?
Right. It's pretty much right there. Yeah.
So if you guys missed that episode, definitely go back and check it out. We had some great conversations about artificial intelligence. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What are the things? Actually, maybe not hate it, but maybe not like it. But anyway, if you haven't checked out that episode, go back one episode number 18, and check that out because it kind of hits on what he was talking about. sometimes
so likely not hating it, but being afraid of it, right?
Afraid of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hate's a really bad word. I'm trying to eliminate that from my vocabulary. It's a little rough for me at times.
Kudos.
Especially when I'm not happy with people. I hate them. I'm sure that you guys know about that. But anyway, so brother, some different things kind of going on. A lot of life-changing moments for all of us out there. You and I talked briefly, maybe stopping and taking a breath. We have been on a fast pace, really concentrating on building businesses, actually not even really building business, constantly breathing life into businesses or relationships or whatever it may be, because there's so much turmoil and stress and whatever. Is like, hey, I've talked to some people say, hey, God, my life is great. I don't have any stress. That is a bunch of malarkey. Everyone has it somewhere.
Yep.
But you and I were talking that maybe, I guess it's not maybe, it's how to stop and take a breath, but keep progressing forward and enjoying the moments around you. And I'm not good at that. Chrissy always tells me about, you need to celebrate your wins. And I'm like, I don't have time to celebrate it right now. I'm holding on by fingernails just to keep this thing up and running. So what say you on that? I
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I would say celebrate your wins, but as they say, don't pat yourself on the back so long that you end up breaking your arm, right? So definitely you got to celebrate your wins, but more importantly, we talked about this earlier about our theme for the day, and I came up with make it count. Make your actions count. Live literally every day like it is your last second on this earth. And what are you doing with the time that you have left? I mean, Jesse Itzler talks about in several of his presentations about summers. We talked about this, I think, in episode 8, 9, 10, somewhere right around there. How many summers do you have left?
Mm-hmm.
And how many summers have you squandered, right? I mean, that's a big thing, a big reflection. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that literally every second I'm making a difference in my life, my family's life, the community's life. And just because you've made it, whatever that looks like to you, and whether or not you've sold your company for 9 figures, good on you, good job. But what are you doing today, and what are you going to do with the rest of the time that you have left to make a difference?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I mean, we're actually, obviously I'm turning 55 here in a couple of weeks, which is just absolutely crazy. I don't know where the time has gone. But we're dealing that with as our family members. Some people have older parents. Some people may have lost their parents. But, you can kind of blink and like, I was playing baseball in the backyard and all of a sudden I have, 6 grandkids and parents are getting older, and you never think that you would see the age of 70 or 80. And all those summers you did squander, all those relationships, or all those times that you should have said, yes, I'll be there instead of I can't make it, right?
Yeah.
So those are taking the time to enjoying that moment because they are fleeting, and I think a lot of us realize that. But again, is what I said just a little bit ago is that everything just seems to be at fast pace, and I just really don't know. And maybe you guys who are watching this feel the same way. As I don't know how to slow it down right now. I'm scared to slow it down.
I don't want to slow it down.
So what's the happy medium?
There's no happy medium. There's no balance. Do everything you do with conviction, and the balance will work itself out. If you're going to spend time with your kids, your grandkids, whatever stage in life you are, concentrate on them while you're doing that. Concentrate on live in the moment with them. And then move on to the next moment, and live in that moment.
That's a good point, but let's go back to what I said, because we've been for so long. Everything that all the gurus and all that stuff said, you need to create balance in your life, and you're telling me there isn't a balance in your life.
There is no balance. Balance is BS. You'll fight trying to create balance instead of living in the moment. and reveling in that moment. Instead of being present when you're interacting with somebody, you're going to try to do 97 things to create balance.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to miss out on the opportunity to really take in what that situation is offering you, either in a lesson or either in happiness or sadness or whatever it is.
But be present in that moment.
Be
that's an
present.
He's dropped a couple things that I picked up on already. But anyways, be present in the moment of sadness, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a fun place to be. Not if people don't want to be sad, but it actually, that actually might be healing in a roundabout way when you are having a tough moment or you're sad or stuff like that. Is just be in that moment and feel that moment is what I'm hearing you say. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep. Sit in it. You got to sit in it. If you find yourself in a pile, sit in it. Don't work so hard to try and get out of it. Sit in it and understand how you got there and how you don't want to get there again, if that's your goal.
Well, I don't think anybody ever wants to sit in that type of... everyone wants to sit in happiness, as but sitting in turmoil or sitting into a mistake or sitting into whatever it may be is again what I hear you saying is not a bad thing. It could be, and it really could help out, and also it might actually help you share with somebody else in the future, kind of how to get through some stuff. Yep. So, are you dealing with? And I know that you're doing your mentoring business is growing and growing and growing. Are you helping anybody through that at this moment?
Yeah, in every business that I'm coaching or helping, or group of men or couples coaching or any of that, there are struggles, there are strife, there are times when people come to me they're not trying to organize their happiness. Mm-hmm. Happiness is easy to organize. It's their struggles that they're trying to organize, that they're trying to get feedback on, that they're trying to get that one little cheat code that gets them to the next level, right? And so, no different than, we've talked about this in other podcasts, no different than when you are happy, you don't look to a marriage counselor if you're happy in your marriage.
Right.
Well, I think that's flawed thinking. And I think it's flawed thinking to look for a business coach if your business is struggling. I think you should look for a business coach when your business is doing great. We've both been in BNI. BNI's concept and process is BNI isn't about getting business today. It's a savings account for tomorrow. Right? And that's what they teach and preach. And no different than that, counseling, coaching, any of that should be done just like advertising. You don't advertise when you're slow. Right. You advertise when you're busy, so that way you don't have any slow times.
You're absolutely right.
I learned that from a guy about 40 years ago. Maybe 38 years ago. I think I was about 15 years old. I used to go to this guy's, walk down to his business and sit in front of his business. He owned a tow company, and there were a ton of cool cars down there in his back lot. And I used to go down and sit on his bench out front of his business every day and have my lunch and eat my sandwich. And I used to just sit there and look at the cool cars and watch the cars go by and all that fun stuff. And then I'd walk back to where I was working. And he came out after, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5, 6 months. He comes out and he goes, "Why do you come down here and sit every day and watch the cars?" So I told him, I said, "Just a pleasure thing for me. It makes me happy. Gives me a break. I get away from the shop. I come back." And he said, and he started sitting with me when I'd eat my sandwich. And he started talking to me. And come to find out, he owned about half a dang Roseburg.
Oh, really?
And the guy drove an old crappy car. He had holes in his knees, on his pants. Hands were always dirty. They say dirty hands, clean money. This guy was the epitome of that, right?
Yeah.
He owned the tow company. He worked in it. And he worked on the cars there and everything. And he used to sit there and drop bombs to me all the time. literally life-changing bombs. And one of them was exactly that. He said, you don't ever advertise when you're busy. I'm sorry, you don't ever advertise when you're slow. You advertise when you're busy, so you never have slow times.
Slow times.
Because I asked him, he's always advertising on the TV. He's always advertising everywhere. He always had billboards on the side of his trucks and everything. He was one of those people that he would rent out the side of his tow truck to other businesses so that way they could advertise. The guy was like ahead of his time.
That's awesome.
I mean, this was like 38 years ago, right? 37 years ago. And the guy was just a bloody genius in some of the ways that he thought about life. And I learned a lot of things from him. And that was one of them. And I believe that to be true, not just in advertising, but in life.
Yeah.
So get a coach when you're killing it.
Go have a sandwich in front of somebody else's shop, right?
Interact with them.
And just what we talked about so many different episodes, especially in the very beginning when we started this, we always talked about, just because you have made it in business, there's a lot of young guys out there, like i.e. what Brent's story right there at 14, that he was just enjoying a moment of looking at cars, and somebody may be even enjoying looking at a bakery or a dry cleaner, whatever that may be, whatever excites them. They're just passing off as somebody out there. There might be an opportunity to mentor. And that's, I think, the big thing about this is, is we said, and I say that a lot, but you may know this or you may not know that. But one of the things, it's our responsibility to go ahead and equip people with what we've been equipped with.
Correct.
And it's so hard. Again, going back to is go. I'll get to them later. I'll do this in a little bit. That's a great idea. One day I'm going to do that. So maybe this resonates with you in a little bit way, or we planted a seed today that if you do see somebody that maybe is interested in your business, or you see them hanging around your business, or they shop in your store a bunch of times and just getting different things, it might be an opportunity just to start a conversation with them and see where that leads to. I'm guessing this guy that mentored you back when you were 14, is he still with us, or is he with Jesus?
He's with Jesus.
He's with Jesus, okay.
He lasted a long time. Like, when I met him, he was in his 70s, dude. So.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. He was at the tail end, and he was scaling back, and I shouldn't say scaling back. He was reorganizing. He was putting his kids in positions of power in his organizations and selling off some of his real estate and things like that. But the guy was cooking with gas. I mean, he was awesome.
Yeah. So that's why I say, again, opportunities are always around us. And then what Brent has brought up to as a topic is stopping and really paying attention what is going around us. Again, we start talking about wives, family, and different things, but it could just be people that you walk past every day. Maybe someone that you pull into the parking lot every day, and someone parks in the same spot next to you, and you guys are coming every day. God's putting people in your life for a reason. It's hard for us to see those at that time.
Yep.
But definitely open your eyes and open your ears and put your spidey senses on, and may have an opportunity for that. There's always room for it, and it may be someone younger than you may be an opportunity to mentor you. There's a lot of stuff in this world, that's technology that we've talked about recently. Us older guys need help with technology, and why it is, instead of being scared. Like, again, I told you that I'm not a big fan of AI, but it's more so that I just don't really understand it. And so some great opportunities there for sure.
Yeah.
That's great, man. What was the name of his business? Do you remember?
It wasn't Roseburg Towing. That's another friend of mine. I don't. I can tell you exactly where it was. It was on the corner of Northeast Stevens and Diamond Lake Boulevard, where they come together. But I used to sit there. It was literally a convergence of three major streets, major arteries coming together.
Yeah.
In a non-plot map fashion. So it was an odd place, but all these three things coming together, there was a lot of activity there, which is why he put his business there, and which was super cool thinking. And the other thing is he, again, he was a master advertiser, but for me, it was just super cool to watch the cars go by. And I never thought that he would be creating a legacy for himself and his family in me and through me that I'm now passing on today.
Yeah. So if you guys have know that business where it was, Brent's still pretty young. So like 5 years ago.
When you say that, I'm going to be 51 next week.
I'm kidding you. I was going to say 5 years ago when Brent was 14. Anyway, but if you guys were in Roseburg area and you know what Brent's talking about, we'd love to hear some of your stories. So I'm guessing it's been more than just Brent that had an interaction with this guy somehow, some way. So if you had an interaction with a tow company out in Roseburg 37 years ago, is that about right?
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, about right.
It was right across from the old Safeway. There used to be a Safeway across the street from there. So I don't know if it's been torn down. I haven't been in Roseburg in years, so I don't know what's changed. But yeah, down in that area, there used to be Horizon Mazda dealer used to be there, and I know they've moved out towards the freeway. But again, it was a convergence of three major arteries, and there was just a ton of activity there. But again, the guy made a difference in my life.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes. Like he was present in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So guys, for you guys, I mean, up to this point, we still got more to talk about, but what say you on this? Have you mentored somebody? Has someone been around your business? Has someone been around your parking lot, store, whatever it may be? Have you had an opportunity to mentor somebody? Were they older? Were they younger? Whatever it may be, but share your comments of how that was. We'd love to have that. But again, the whole point of the topic is kind of being present in the moment and slowing down and talking about those stuff. And that's another topic. What are you doing to stay in the moment? Again, very fast-paced world, a lot of stuff to try to keep on. Everyone kind of seems to be fighting for the same piece of pie. We're all trying to keep our businesses up, our jobs running, and all those different things. What are you doing to stay in the moment? I know I need it. I know there's a lot of people out there need it. I'm sure Brent can go look at different points too. You do have, which we talked about last week, you come home, you spend a half hour with your kids, half hour with your son, half hour with your daughter, and then you actually, when the kids go to bed, then you have some one-on-one time with your wife as well. So I am trying to implement that, still kicking the can down the road a little bit, but well, it's, and again, not making excuses, but it's, I told Chrissy I've got to work through that. She's building a business. We're also building a business. So realistically, if you can look back about 4 years ago is when we really started building two separate businesses, and it's a strain, dude. It's not easy. Two ships passing in the night, two different directions, and obviously that's why you have two ships passing the night, but two different industries. And you have a lot of people expecting things from you, and you have a lot of things that I'm expecting from other people. So it makes it tough, and it makes it tough not to bring that home at night and kind of, we all
have our stuff, right? The issue is not the stuff, and it's not the schedule, and it's not the anything. It literally doesn't take any more time to schedule to be present,
right,
at all.
Yeah. Why do we make it so difficult then?
Because we're getting distracted by technology. We're getting distracted by people telling us to learn how to multitask, to start multiple businesses, to not focus on what's present. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction tactic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Freaking AI.
It's not AI. I love the picture that you posted with the
the robot.
Yeah, the robot.
Telling you, man.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's. But anyways, man, I think that's a big thing for everybody right now, and I'm really glad you brought up the topic. And as I was telling you before we got on here, there was and you may know her. Her dad is Curtis Irving.
Yep.
Okay, so Sarah Irving, very predominant realtor up in Portland area right now. It's not Sarah Irving anymore, so sorry for saying that. But she kind of posted the same thing. It's basically kind of like stop and, as you can say, stop and smell the roses a little bit. Life is fleeting.
None of us are getting out alive.
That's for sure, brother. However, if you guys haven't heard this too, as I'll throw this in there, Brent and I both listened to a podcast by Ed Milet a couple days ago. But science is definitely creating some really cool stuff. So you may have a little bit longer to go ahead and make a moment, but don't take that for a fact yet. But yeah, especially with your parents who are getting older, maybe a relationship that needs a little bit more attention, maybe a job that needs a little bit more attention, So there's just a lot of things in there. But I think what Brent's saying is really spot on, is just be in the moment. Whatever that may be, if you're at the office, be in the moment. If you're talking to a client, be in the moment. If you're talking to your wife, be in the moment. I know another thing that it's been certain, and I say this stuff because this is what the show is about, is being super transparent, and it's this therapy for us, is that I am not taking him. I have a 33-year-old son, and there's times that we text a lot, but I'm not taking a lot of time to make phone calls, and that stuff needs to happen a lot more often. And so when Brent brought this up, it definitely triggered. Those are some of the things that need to happen. So again, it's not a woe is me. I'm just letting you guys know that out there, that when Brent and I talk about this stuff, we're going through it, and we're constantly adjusting. And if you're going through that stuff and constantly adjusting too, then we want to hear about that. And this is a platform for you to put it out there, man or woman, kid or whatever. You're not the only one that's going through that stuff, and this is the platform for you to talk about how you got through it, what you're going through, and how can we help.
Yeah.
So you guys we can equip you just like Brent was equipped 37 years ago from some guy who's talked about by just some kid, as in Brent Wright, stopping and looking at cars.
Yep.
I mean, I say this, how stupid is that, right? It's going looking at cars, dude. I never expected to get golden nuggets.
Yeah.
Doing some stuff. So, good topic, dude.
Yeah.
It got me a lot of stuff, and I know that you got some things coming up for you. So we'll be, somehow, some way, we will make it. We will be in the moment and make this happen, guys. And I think that's a big thing. Is Brent and I committed. There's a lot of opportunities that Brent and I, every week, we have other things that we could be doing, but we've committed to this. We know this is a long-term play. I think it's not finite. I think you said that a little bit. It's not finite. It's more infinite. It's a long-term play.
Yep.
Some days we have really good rakes of views, and sometimes we get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It's not that way anymore. We have a lot of subscribers and
I'm
stuff
just
like
happy
that.
that we have one.
Right? You get one, man. It's like Christmas. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna start another one.
Yeah, one organic view. I'm in. I'm happy.
Right? That's exactly right. So, any good final words on this topic? I mean, this was your topic. Sometimes I get a little long-winded as normal. I feel like this mic puts a cape around me for some reason. But any final words on your topic that you want to delve into before we get out of here?
A wise man told me last night, he's not a man yet. He's my 7-year-old son. He said, I would rather give up all what we have for seconds with you.
Yeah. Just to let you know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a lot. It's pretty heavy. Brent's done a lot of, if you guys have known Brent's background, he's come a long way over, gosh darn, the last 10 years, not even over the last 2 years.
Yep.
It's been an incredible journey. I am incredibly grateful and blessed that I've got to witness it for being friends with you for 20 years. You've got to see a lot of crazy-ish with me. A lot of crazy-ish with me. But it's a transformation, man. It's pretty awesome. And knowing what Brent just said there is, I hope that really resonates with you, especially for knowing him, because that wasn't an easy conversation. Those words that only lasted 20 seconds was probably one of the hardest things Brent's ever done. So,
Yep.
the shell is breaking, brother. You and I both of our silos are coming down a little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
I think we're about right here right now. So, man, I thank you for sharing that. But yeah, and don't ever underestimate that too. I've had different conversations, not so I don't want to take away from them, but I guess don't underestimate the wisdom of a 7-year-old, right?
Amen.
How powerful is that? It's definitely going to resonate with me, the story that even we had before we got on today. Sometimes we don't think that they know we don't know what they know.
Correct.
And they haven't had the denial that would keep them from saying that. You know, they haven't had the rejection.
They don't know the word no. I talked about this on our legacy call today, Legacy of Men call. They don't know that they shouldn't, or they don't know that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a couple of years ago, I think he was 4.5, almost 5 years old. We walked into a big, beautiful house that we were looking at, and it was way above our pay grade. But we were visualizing, we were dreaming, we were thinking, we were planning. We were trying to get a vision board together and decide what we wanted to do there. And as a family, we went and looked at this house, and it was gorgeous. And it was one of those big double door, big cathedral things. Like I said, 4.5, almost 5 years old. He walked in, pushed both doors open, and said, "I'm home. This is our house."
That's awesome, man.
We didn't end up buying the house, but you see my point. Like,
yeah. Dude, we're going to have to, I know that we've got a couple of different things, and this just popped in my head, but we're supposed to have an episode with our wives, and we'll get that done here sooner than later. But
yeah,
we're going to have to get him on. You're going to have to get your son on here.
Oh, it'd be super sweet. That'd be
awesome. Dude, it would be, I think he could drop a lot of bombs. And so you get yours.
Yeah.
Because yours is 7. I'm going to get mine. It's 33. Wish I had. I don't even know if I can bring this up. Dude, my boy is cracking me up right now. He's bringing back the 90s. And I'm going to see if I can get this. I don't know if you can see that.
Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up.
Oh, my God, dude. Right? Christian, I'm sorry, brother, but you're doing some great things over in Idaho. But, man, he just sent me this. Now he goes, "What do you think?" I'm like, dude, this goes back, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Thong, 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 thong.
That's awesome.
So for those who don't know, that's my son. He's 33 years old. He's a father of 6. He has God is calling him every day. When you're grateful for things, he's also a journeyman electrician. He's doing some great things out there. He has a crew of about 40 guys that he's overseeing at the age of 33, and he's pouring into those guys. Some are older, some are younger. The bottom line is God is calling him, and he's dabbling in the world of ministry. So we'll see where God takes him on that. It's pretty powerful, especially knowing where he came from. We talked about a little bit ago too. Is that he's licked the gutter.
Okay.
And he's come a long way. So just don't give up. If your kids are having a hard time right now, do not give up on them. Just constantly put us in prayer. If we can pray for you, send those as in comments as well. But going back to your son, I want to get him on here, dude, because I think that would be really cool. I see that kid doing pull-ups, man. And just certain things he's doing, driving 4-wheelers, feeding cows, baling hay. That kid
an excavator, a skid steer.
Yeah, right, man. It's just cold plunges.
Yep.
That kid, there's something special about him, man. It's fun watching his journey. So you've done one hell of a job. I know there's a lot more that you think that you could do with them, and we don't want to downplay what you're doing for your daughter as well. So,
dude, I'm just a participant.
I know. But you're a facilitator, though.
Yeah,
you're a participant, but you're a facilitator. You're sharing wisdom, and then you're equipping, you're engaging with him and equipping and empower him to go and do that stuff. And then when he gets into, I'm sure that he is giving that knowledge to kids his age in a roundabout way at his school, and that's what we're supposed to do. So, anyway. Brother, again, super. This is your first time watching Old Guys Still Rock. We are not a scripted show. Yep. God leads our way. Our conversation's just like talking to your buddy on the phone, and that's what we are. So we would love to have you on here. We'd love to hear what you're going through or what you're not going through, how you won, how you lost, and how you survived. One of the two. But so thank you for sharing, man. I know we got a little bit vulnerable for you. Usually I'm the guy that gets a little emotional, so I'm glad it was you today. So I owe you one.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. We want you to enjoy your day. Go make a freaking difference.
That's right.
Brent always says, what's your final words on that? What you always say?
Go make a damn difference.
Go make a damn difference, Days. Guys, thank you so much for all your support, all your love, all your comments, all your subscriptions. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Until we see each other again, stay safe. Most of all, God bless. We love you guys. Take care.